Welcome to AetherNet episode 2, and we're going to talk about Sastasha's dungeon today. I probably screwed up on that name, and I apologize for that. Or do I? I don't care. Whatever. I am today playing as a White Mage, and as always, with me today is Bran.
Hi.
She is playing Black Mage? Yeah.
Yes.
And with us from our free company is Nate, who is playing something.
Dragoon. And hello.
And we also have Olaf from the free company.
Hello.
And he is
a podder.
Yes. So today's goal is to show everybody on YouTube how to go through this dungeon, and it should be pretty easy since it's only level 15 through 17.
Yeah.
It is a starting dungeon, so it's designed to help train people to dungeon in Final Fantasy.
True.
If you don't know how to dungeon, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
Yes. If you have people that do a lot of shenanigans, a good way to draw the aggro as either a gladiator or a marauder, just use your ranged. Because then you get there before other people do stupid things.
What? You sound like you're implying that shenanigans happen frequently with this group.
Maybe.
Slightly.
Just a little bit. Also, Nathaniel is demonstrating the wrong way to attack. You should generally attack the thing that the tank is attacking, not the thing the tank is not attacking.
And a good tank would actually mark the monsters too.
Yeah.
Hey, we haven't taught him about that yet, so that's not his fault.
Okay.
It's not like it's hard to see what I'm attacking.
Oh shit.
Typically, a lot of tanks will use the marks, which I'm sure Albel can show on his screen if he wants to.
Yeah. You just go through your actions and you go all the way down to general. No, not general. Damn it. Main command.
It's under social and then under signs.
No. It's under main command and it's under signs.
Whatever you say.
And you can actually put it on your hotbar. Don't worry. This is such an easy dungeon where the healer doesn't really have to do much. In fact, you probably should also be attacking as well.
This is also true.
So, once you clear this...
Nate! Stop having your car!
What's up?
Technical difficulty.
Because that sound came back.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Nope. It's definitely from you, though.
Just don't see how it's from me.
I don't think anyone sees how it's from you, but...
So all these bloody memos should be in line with the boss, as well as with the main story, too.
Whatever the color on the memo is related to the first boss fight up there.
This is a pretty dungeon, actually.
The lights are very pretty in here.
Yeah, it really is.
It feels a little bit more darker with some of the other dungeons, though, a little bit. At least compared to this one.
Yeah. There we go, marking.
Yep. This is one of those dungeons, though, that's really easy. The only reason this might be a bad dungeon is if your tank sucks.
Well, and a lot of the more experienced people that play this end up with brand new tanks that are learning to tank for the very first time.
Yeah.
So, this can actually be a really difficult dungeon if you get that.
Even when I was starting out, though, too, the tanks weren't that bad.
Yeah, let me guess, that sound just came back, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, it's not as bad as before, but it's still hard to hear everyone else.
I just don't understand what the hell is causing it.
You said your fan is pointed down?
The fan's not even blowing on the iPod. Literally, the iPod is being hidden under something, so it's not being blown on.
I wonder if it's just trying to, like, it's probably auto-adjusting where your Skype is picking up whatever is not speaking. That's probably it.
The only thing I can think of is switching over to my laptop, but
You could just mute and not talk.
So
I'm
I
sorry.
made an error. So I made an error as a white mage. I was sure to cast protect already, which I forgot to.
Whoops. It happens.
'Cause
We all make mistakes.
that's true. I think it's just Nate's Skype auto-adjusting itself.
I think so too.
Probably.
So he just needs to keep it at a certain level
Yeah.
and just unclick the auto-adjust on it.
Yeah.
So
I don't even know how I would do that.
these little guys up ahead here, the giant clams, can only be attacked when they're open, for those that are doing DPS.
Like, I really don't know how I would do that.
Usually there's a setting right under the call that shows you what you have for your stuff, like, but I'm not sure how it is for the iPod though.
You might have to go into options. We'll discuss that later.
Yeah.
My bad, I'm pretty much all screwed up this podcast, I'll bet.
Oh.
If you want to wait a sec, we can tell you how to turn it off. Just, okay, go to tools,
If this
options.
even has it.
So I'll be playing music for everybody right now on YouTube.
Pretty much, yeah.
I could dance.
Sure, go ahead and dance.
But anyway, we're attacking that now.
Oh, super. Hurrah!
And we're back. No more music for YouTube people. It is now muted. Sorry, everyone.
Is it the technical difficulties music? Because that would be great.
Yeah,
If I
we'll
can find
we'll
that,
definitely
sure.
find some.
Yeah. Poor Nate.
Yeah, sad times for Nate.
He is now a sad kitty.
I still think it has something to do with Skype though, so.
Aw, he's actually crying.
Because this has
Aw.
happened to Nero and quite a number of other people too, when they forgot that their auto adjust is on.
But were they on an iPod is the question.
Yeah, Poke is on an iPod too. Don't you
Is he on
remember
an
that?
iPod? He just said he was on a phone. He didn't say he was on
No,
an iPod.
he's on the iPod Touch. Or whatever. iPhone, whatever.
Alrighty.
So,
Something that starts with I.
yeah, exactly. I'm sure Sony hasn't created something with I in it because they would be sued by Apple.
Mhm.
Anyway, if you guys are really looking for XP, you should be fighting every monster. At this point, most of these monsters should be fought. I don't think there's any that we passed so far that you can't fight.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in the first part of this dungeon, at least, there's really no mobs to skip. It's when you get into the second half of this place that there is a whole bunch of optional rooms. And it's best, especially if you're low level, to do them because they're full of treasure.
Yeah. I mean, even me, I'm level 22, and I'm getting like 500 experience per monster, which is a really good.
Well, if you look on the corner of your bar or whatever, you should notice the heat of battle. Usually the heat of battle gives you a lot more than the dungeon will.
Yeah. And that is a free company bonus.
Yes.
I remember reading it the other day. It's about 10% increase in XP.
It's exactly
Right.
10%.
And especially right now, for some reason, I'm getting like 60% experience increase.
If
Not
you
entirely sure why.
have food too, you get an extra 3%.
I don't
Yep.
have any
Uh-oh.
Is
food on right now.
Is your experience bar partially blue?
No.
Oh, well then I don't know why you're getting bonuses.
Well, there's also chain bonuses too for every defeated monster.
I'm not chaining. This is like 60% bonus without chain at all, so I don't know.
It could also be your first time in the dungeon, so...
No, it's not his first time.
Okay.
It's my third time. So.
Usually if you have a blue experience bar, you're getting bonuses like that. Because I'm currently getting 115% bonus.
Well, they did increase the
Yeah.
XP over time with the dungeon, so...
Yeah.
Like I'm getting 785 per kill, and my character's at 43.
So basically, anywhere between like level 15 and 20, it's a good idea to kill everything because you get a decent chunk of XP from it.
Yep.
Although, if you were to really want to, you could rush some dungeons and just kill the bosses.
Yeah.
But it's best
But
to
not-
learn what you're doing before you attempt any type of speedruns ever.
At least not with this dungeon.
Yeah.
Shouldn't do that.
Plus, these clams are fun to fuck up.
You're like such a useless healer right now.
Why?
It's so easy to heal, and I can't do anything else.
Mm.
Whenever I heal,
I
I
was a-
typically just focus on healing. I don't usually focus on doing damage to anything.
I ran
Oh,
one of our new people through this the other night, and I tanked as the healer.
Yeah.
That was pretty epic.
So, quick tip to people who make amateur mistakes like I just did: make sure your equipment is mended before you go into a dungeon. Because I have a ring at 10%. Luckily, it's just a ring, not like an important piece of equipment. But yeah.
So, this is the first boss room. I did not check the note, so somebody picked the color of the note.
It was blue.
Blue.
Okay.
If you pick the color that it isn't on the note, a monster will spawn and you'll have to kill it before the button will appear on the back
Oh,
wall.
that could have been a
You
teachable
hear
moment.
something move in the distance.
And then Chopper appears.
Which is the first boss of the dungeon.
He's pretty simple. The tank punches him in the face for a while and everybody whittles down his health. And he has one AoE ability that causes paralysis
Yep.
if you get hit with it.
So I think the stun is only under 9 seconds though, so... Which nobody was stunned, so it's all good.
Yeah. Sometimes it seems like it doesn't matter if you move and you don't take much damage, but it can really stack up on the healer. You don't try to avoid the AoE stuff.
For the most part of any AoE I've seen, it's not any of these dungeons, but it is the Titan, or some of the other trials where you have to move very far away.
Yeah, or even if you move very far away, you still somehow get hit with it and rage like I do.
Yeah.
That's what we call lag.
You actually, back when, back
Let's see what
before
we
they
got.
put in one of the more recent patches, there was a super bad issue with those higher fights where...
Does anyone
Something-
want this Halbergen?
No, go ahead. There
I
was,
don't really need it though. That's
You can
all.
always sell it if you want to.
It only
Since
sells for
it's
like
green.
21 gil though. Yeah.
I think
there
it's
was an
green.
issue with the Titan fights where the AoE marks on the ground were not correct. So
Oh,
even if you
fuck.
were like 15 feet out of it, it would still hit you. So they had to narrow down the field a bit in one of the patches after that. But it was a problem. It made that fight 10 times harder than it needed to be.
Sorry if people can actually hear me eating. Sorry. I haven't eaten anything today besides pancakes this morning.
Pancake.
I had French toast.
Oh, I love French toast.
I do too.
I made it with homemade bread too.
Can't eat it.
Oh, it sounds so delicious.
It was.
Oh yeah, before I forget, anybody who finds an item in a loot chest, if you don't need it, just don't press need. It's very greedy of you if you just press need if you don't need it. Especially if it's gear for a DPS or a different class. Because some people, like me when I was fighting DPS in most dungeons, I had a hard time of fighting gear.
This is technically the second boss fight. You should always burn your ads down first, which is the 2 reavers, and then attack the captain. And eventually the captain runs away like the coward that he is, and you don't need to follow him because you'll fight him again in a bit.
And also, if you get targeted by other ads as the healer, just run towards the tank. So
Yes.
don't run away.
Always run toward the tank if you get targeted.
Yeah, don't run away. That's
And whatever you do, do
hiding.
not run past the tank and draw more aggro.
Yes.
I've seen people do that plenty of times.
I totally never do that. Mm-mm.
You're the #1 offender, Bran.
What? No. I do no such thing.
By the way, if you happen to be a melee DPS, your best bet would be to get into the flank region behind the enemy.
Yes, that
That's
is really
where you do-
important.
But that's where you do the most damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see a lot of DPS that are melee that seem to want to attack from the front for no apparent reason. So they take more damage that way, and they're not doing as much damage to the boss or the monster they're fighting.
Maybe I should talk about that a little bit before I forget. If you guys see the items that you sometimes get, pink generally means that it's unique. Sometimes it's convertible, sometimes it's not, but you cannot trade those. The green, usually you can trade.
Ooh, sexy. It's got 1 less physical damage than my current axe, but it's got +3 strength, so I'm definitely equipping this bitch.
Let's see.
Oh, if you guys ever get new equipment, though, too, always make sure to wait for other people, though. Because sometimes we may equip it.
Yeah.
So this room actually has 4 side rooms where there's possibly good treasure to get. If you're trying to get levels, it's good to go do all of them.
And if you want loot, of course.
Yeah,
'cause
loot
the
is good.
Usually, though, you get potions and stuff.
Oh, never mind. We'll attack closer than that.
Let's see if we can draw them away a little bit. Because we might draw aggro from other people.
Whoopsies. My bad. Not quite sure how I pulled the aggro on the main target.
I'm not sure either, but it happened.
It's because you guys were not attacking the same target as me.
Maybe.
Whoops.
Possibly.
Oh yeah, the other thing that you can do as a Black Mage is put extra enemies to sleep, which I have not been doing.
It would also be nice if you're a Black Mage to have a macro saying that you are putting enemies to sleep, too.
Yeah, I don't do macros, but I know they are very helpful, especially in dungeons.
Yep.
Yeah. With me, you might consider doing a macro on that, because like I use overpower a lot to draw the aggro, so it's completely pointless if I use overpower and something sleeping. So I'm gonna come over here and crush this scurvy dog.
There's actually a macro you can use where if you attack an enemy, it automatically puts a sign on them. As well
Yeah.
as signs on other enemies, too.
That's cool. I did not know that.
Yeah. It's a very complicated way of doing it, though. Because it's something that you do with Flash, though, but I think it's random for marking,
Yeah.
which may or may not be good. That's also why I wanted to talk to Brew the other day. See if he has any macros like that.
I don't think he uses any macros for his tank, really, because he doesn't really feel the need to. He does have a ton of macros for crafting, though, because he's a strange one.
You're not gonna go over this room?
There's a room right here.
Oh,
Yeah.
derp. I just saw things and I wanted to attack them.
Oh, shiny!
Now, Bran, we talked about this.
I am not running off to pet cats again. It's fine.
Okay. Is there any
Don't-
treasure in this room?
Don't worry about it.
Eh.
Ugh.
I could say about my rotation for what I do, but for the most part, as a conjurer, you're just be healing and using Asuna.
Yeah, in this dungeon, there's not a whole lot for you to do. I'm using 3 abilities in this dungeon as a Black Mage.
Yeah, even with Medica, I don't really use it because that just draws aggro anyway.
Yup.
So, well, yeah, I can't really think of much else for my rotations right now. Occasionally, I might use Arrow, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what our tank is doing for his abilities.
I like to Tomahawk. Then, if I need to draw the aggro immediately, I'll use either Overpower or Skull Thunder. But if I don't need to draw it immediately, I use Heavy Swing first because it doubles the damage by Skull Thunder. So, yeah, that. I'll use Overpower if there's a lot of them grouped together just to keep the aggro on everyone.
One thing to remember too as a DPS is if you start to draw aggro, you should probably back off so the tank can get the aggro back. It makes it a lot easier. Like I'm starting to do right now. Oh, I'm good.
And she's just going to continue to draw more and more aggro.
Yeah.
And there's actually quite a few ways to tell if you're drawing aggro. From the player's perspective, there's the monster name tags on the side of the bar there. They'll start to flash yellow, then orange, then red. If they flash red, the monster is going to come for you.
There's also the white bar underneath each character.
Yeah, that's the one the tank can see, or whoever's attacking can see. The healers don't typically see that bar, usually.
See, like right now, Olaf has the highest aggro.
Yeah.
Which I should have.
Yeah.
If you're the tank and you have the highest aggro, you're doing it right.
Another way to see who has the most aggro is if you click on the monster's name, it'll show who is...
More and more aggro.
Yeah, it'll show who's got the aggro right now. Which is a great tip for healers if you're trying to get the name of the person you're healing. You can do it that way. You can also use your F keys to scroll through the list of people in your party box.
Oh, fun fact for anybody going to do more and more dungeons for Final Fantasy XIV, which you will have to because of the story. For the most part, every dungeon you go to will just be for a party man, up until probably about level 50.
Well, it's definitely up to 1150. You don't do...
Well, I don't remember if there was a trial that's 8 man.
Oh, there was one trial that was 49 or 48, and it was an 8-man. But it was one fight. There was nothing to it other than that.
Well, I couldn't remember if they added Titan or a Grada for 8 man, but I don't think they did.
Garuda? No, not in the early stuff. The story fight modes for those were both 4-man.
Okay, so if you guys really want to do more 8 man or whatever dungeons, you will have to get to level 50, which is sad a little bit.
I don't know. I think you need to do that much of the game to really, one, grasp your character's abilities, and
That's
two,
true.
just to learn the mechanics of the game enough to be able to work in that big of a team. Because sometimes it's hard enough to work with 4 strangers, let alone 8 of them.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you right now, the 2 people who can usually carry the team is usually the whoever's the healer and whoever's the tank. If any of those people are fucking up, it's going to be really bad time.
Yep. Even in an 8-man, if one healer is not pulling their weight, it goes so bad so fast.
So I'm gonna aggro these guys.
Okay.
Bran, please put some of them to sleep.
Okay. Fine. I'm putting some of them to sleep.
Thank you. What? Who attacked them? Somebody
I did. I just said I'm gonna aggro them.
Yeah, but
Okay.
after that he said to put them to sleep, so I tried.
Oh. Sorry, I didn't hear that part. I was using
Okay.
overpower if you couldn't tell.
Yeah, none of them are staying asleep, so I'm not going to bother.
Got it. But starting from this, well, not from this dungeon, the next dungeon after this, and a few of the dungeons after that will probably have similar boss mechanics. I don't think they're... Well, I think this one has similar boss mechanics to how Tally a little bit. Or the fact from the ads being spawned in certain areas.
Maybe? I don't know. Halatelli's got some more unique mechanics, I suppose.
They got some more unique mechanics, but the third boss, all the ads are spawning in certain areas. It's the same, similar to this one.
Oh, yes, I understand what you mean. I understand, yes.
And from every dungeon that you do in the main story will be very similar to each other. There's only 1 or 2 dungeons I can think of that are truly unique in terms of boss fights, and that the one dungeon is, I think, whoever, I can't think, that's Color's Cry, yeah.
Ah, yes, Counter's Cry.
Color's Cry and Autumn Vale, I think.
Orm Vale?
Yeah,
Yeah. We talked about Orm Vale.
a little bit, yeah. And then there's one more dungeon that'll be unique that I can't think of. The one with the statues and stuff that falls that you have to trigger with traps.
Temple of Karn.
Yep. So there's 3 unique dungeons. Otherwise, most of the other dungeons, for the most part, are easy or very similar to each other to get the handle what to do for the bosses.
Yeah. The biggest thing with the dungeons, too, is they are pretty clear on what you have to do. Up until you get to like the hard modes and the experts, there's a few things in some of them that require a bit of strategy, but most of the time you should be able to figure it out pretty simply.
Yep.
There isn't really anything super complicated, and after like one failure, it becomes pretty apparent what you're trying to do.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure you guys will see me, well, not everybody in this call, but people who are listening in on YouTube, you guys will see me in my Crystal Tower run, and you see that I die. Because there's actually, in Titan, they do have the meteor stuff fall, and you have to, oh, no, not Titan.
That's Behemoth. That's the King Behemoth.
Yeah, but there's something similar in Grata, where you have to hide behind something.
The hole.
Oh my dear.
Anyway, point is, every dungeon is very similar to each other to a certain degree. There's only a few uniques, really.
I don't have any earrings yet.
Did you say there's only a few unique mechanics in Crystal Tower?
No, what I mean is there's only a few unique and certain low-level dungeons.
Ah, yeah.
So.
Well, they wanted people to enjoy them and not get frustrated, because I think it wasn't until the first Titan fight, the story mode Titan, where I really got frustrated with a dungeon, and it was just like, oh my god, I hate this. Because the mechanics in that made me want to cry a whole lot. And then I got to the higher stuff and went back to that one, and I was like, wow, this is so much easier than I remember.
Being aggroed right now.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
That's why you go with that.
I literally have nothing else to say about this dungeon since it's pretty easy and straightforward right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
To the captain's quarters.
So I don't think this is technically a boss fight, but this is...
No, he's like a minion. He drops the key that's required to move forward, though.
Yeah,
Let's call him a mid-boss.
Yeah, I suppose so. His health is a lot beefier than the other guys.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look at him. He's huge, and he's got wenches, so clearly he's worked.
He even has Lalafell wenches, which is the disturbing part.
Did you just see what that girl said?
What?
Like the cat girl right beside me?
What did she say?
She's like, I swear, I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them, I
yeah,
swear.
I
I'm what
see
little
it.
remains of my virtue. Oh, dear.
Glorious.
Well then, moving on.
So, if people don't realize what this dungeon is, this is basically pirates
Jump,
that we're
whee!
fighting.
Oh yes, that's something we can talk about. Because this is the first dungeon, it is required by the story to be completed. And for some reason, some people seem to have some problem finding it. Like finding what quest leads to it. So basically when you do your starting area quests, you'll do something envoy. Mine was the Luminson envoy. It'll depend on the area you started in. After you do that, there's a guy outside the chamber in Ulda who will give you a quest called The Call to the Sea. And you go talk to Baderon in the Drowning Wench in Limsa Luminsa, and then he will give you a quest called It's Probably Pirates, which is what leads you to Sastasha.
Yep.
It's definitely pirates.
Yep,
I
it's
believe
Always
it's
pirates.
It's either Aleport or Swift Perch that you just basically go straight for the dungeon.
It's Aleport. You go to Aleport, and you go basically straight north.
Yep.
Northeast-ish.
Which tells you what kind of area it is if they have a place called Aleport.
Yeah.
Yep, and generally every dungeon in the game for the main story will be in a level similar to for the monsters, usually.
Yeah. And even if you are higher, like my character right now that I'm playing with is technically 43, she's been level synced to 18 to participate in this dungeon with the people that are lower. I think we all level synced below.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I level synced.
Yeah. This particular fight, he summons some dogs that are pretty easy to kill.
And there's a tiny one. It's adorable, and I feel bad hurting it.
Oh. Also, his parrot's kind of annoying.
Yep, keeps
I don't-
squawking.
Captain is strong! Captain is strong! Squawk!
I'm being a little bit of a bad healer. Don't follow my examples of constantly healing. You're gonna draw aggro too. So,
But on the opposite end of that, you shouldn't wait until there's only like a sliver of health before you try to heal your tank.
remember reading that good rule of thumb is healing when the tank's health is below 80%. Or at 80%.
Yeah, because things can go all kinds of wrong on the tank real fast.
Yep. There's one particular dungeon where you have to be a really good healer, and I'm sure we're going to show you guys more on YouTube. It's the spider dungeon. I really don't like.
The spider dungeon?
The status effect poisons everywhere.
Oh, Thousand Maw?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the next one that, No, you have to do Copper Bell first, then you have Thousand Maw.
Yep.
I like Thousand Maw. And
Is
again, the captain runs away like a coward.
Yep.
'Cause
It
he's
is
a little
probably
bitch.
the only dungeon that'll test your might. Well, starting from that point, it'll probably test your might more as a healer. So,
Yeah, yeah.
The only reason why I might not get the tank healed sometimes is if I'm not paying attention.
Which you
And
should
even then,
always
that's
be paying
okay.
attention.
I
Okay,
remember early in dungeons like this, I usually just play YouTube songs, so every like 5 to 6 seconds, I'll just listen to a different YouTube song.
That's okay. We were running something high level with Brew as a tank one day, and he was watching Netflix at the same time. So he would just like derp off into a wall, and we would be like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, sorry, it was a good part in the show." I'm like, why are you watching television while we're trying to run this?" He's like, "I don't need to pay attention. It's fine." I'm like, if we die because you were watching something on Netflix, I swear to God. Oh my God. So yeah, don't do that as a tank.
Well, if you do, just switch songs that you're listening to and not...
Or
watch
at least
something.
have a dual monitor so you're not flipping back and forth on the same screen.
Yeah, that.
Because that's what he was doing.
I really want one though eventually. Would make streaming a whole lot better.
I have it, but I can't turn it on all the time because my graphics card doesn't like it.
Just buy another graphics card, it'll be fine.
Yeah, sure. But I don't know if my power supply is good enough to do that, so.
That's a good question.
That too.
See? I'm not totally retarded when it comes to technology.
Okay. My power supply is at least 700. I'm sure I'll be able to manage.
I have no idea
Yeah.
what mine is. I don't even know how to check that. But I do know that it needs to be high enough to put a new graphics card in.
If
All you need to do is open up the
well,
case
no,
and look at it.
wait a second. Did you buy a store-bought computer?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that solves many of my questions already about it.
But it does have a dedicated graphics card. I made sure of that. So it's not just like... Yeah. It's got a dedicated graphics in it.
Usually most store-bought desktops have at least 300 watts worth of power. At least from fixing things. And there goes the lawnmower. Right. I didn't realize anybody was mowing the lawn today. Oh well.
Well,
At least
you
I
know...
can't hear it.
Can you not hear it?
I hear it.
Oh wait, I'm gonna try to move my
I hear it.
microphone a little bit.
That's the best.
See, there you go.
You're having a terrible day for noises.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
No wonder you do most of your recording late at night.
I do, but nobody's on late at night though. Just sad.
Olaf.
We're
and
always
Discord
on.
are-
I am.
Yeah, but
like,
most of
all
the guild.
these people except me usually are.
Yeah, that's the problem, Bran. You're my co-host.
Oh yeah,
Co-host.
right. That. I forgot. Shut up.
You have to be on when I'm on.
I can be your substitute co-host tier.
I don't know. I
Aw.
think everybody loves Cat Girl Bran. So
What? Mew mew.
see,
Nobody
exactly.
loves me.
And
You're-
there goes the captain we were trying so hard to fucking kill earlier.
Oh yeah.
Derp.
Yeah. Spoilers.
By the way, I skipped the cutscene because I didn't mean to. I always do. Sorry. Anyway,
Oops.
these are the guys that you can generally skip right here, though, towards the end boss.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
This is the only part of the dungeon you could really skip for monsters.
So this boss fight has the first semi-complicated mechanic. It's really not. Basically, the three people that are not tanking the boss are going to stand near these unnatural ripples, and every once in a while it's going to pop up and say something something bubbles, and you click on it, and it prevents an ad from popping up. If you ignore it, then ads will spawn all over the place and bad things happen, and you don't want that, so...
Yep.
Alright, now I'm gonna aggro it.
Nate, are you going to get the front too?
Yes.
Like, sure.
I will.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm gonna activate life steal so you don't have to heal me as often. So
Oh, ripples.
By a pro tip for anyone mowing their lawn, always mow in the morning. Because
Oh.
it's usually colder.
Oh, there's going to be an ad. There it is. That's what happens if you don't click on it soon enough.
Teachable moment for everyone. Teachable moment. Although I wonder, could you put the boss asleep while you do something?
No, I don't think sleep affects boss enemies ever.
okay, I do need heals now.
Okay.
Nah.
I got this one, Nate. Oh, you got it. Okay. Albel. There you go.
Trying to heal at the same time. I don't know why you keep standing in the attack. You can move and dodge. You know that, right?
I lagged. Sorry.
It happens.
I usually move and dodge them, but I lagged.
Oh
You know what's
yeah.
really scary is when a tank lags so bad that they've run up to attack stuff and nobody knows, and then all of a sudden they're dead.
Yeah, because that
Yep.
totally didn't happen to me yesterday at all. Or
You just
the day
like go
before.
flying forward on the screen and all of a sudden you're dead.
Yeah, that happened the day before yesterday to me, remember?
No.
Okay.
Okay, I never said I had a good memory.
Shall I let it break?
Sure.
Might as well.
Ooh! Before I forget, anyone who's gonna limit break is usually the person with the higher gear, and that's usually the Dragoon limit breaking though.
No, it's not who has the highest gear. It depends on the situation. If you're fighting a single target, like this boss, it's going to be your Dragoon or your Monk, because they have a single target limit break. If you're fighting a group of enemies, then you should use the AoE limit break, in which case it would be your Black Mage or your Summoner.
Sorry, I barely see any summoner or black mage limit breaks.
Right, because usually in a boss fight it's a single target, so they shouldn't be doing it if there's a single target DPS with us. Like a melee DPS. So, yeah.
Like a bee.
It's a me.
That is Sastasha. It's super simple and easy to run and good practice if you're not sure how to do things yet.
I got boots.
Good job. They're dexterity boots. They're not for you.
I know.
Probably one of the fastest dungeons that we went through, though.
I think so.
Like
It went really
20,
well.
30 minutes. And before we say goodbye for this episode, I'm at the location now of the dungeon.
Awesome.
It's straight from Aleport. Aleport.
Aleport. Ale, like beer. Ale.
They like ale.
You know, you would think that me drinking a lot, I would remember that name, but no, I don't.
That might be part of the problem, dear. Yeah.
Maybe a little.
I haven't drank in 2 weeks, and I'm gonna leave off of that. So we'll see you guys next time.
Bye!
Bye bye.